Uh, Good evening, everyone. This is Jim Gallagher. I'm the chairman of the Grafton Cable Oversight Committee, and we'll call the meeting of March 22nd, 2021 to order. And I will start with just the advisory as a preliminary matter. This is the Cable Oversight Committee. All members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. And if anyone else, will identify you as the evening goes on. So good evening. The open meeting of the Cable Oversight Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency with the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the Governor's office suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings publicly accessible. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted to the town's website, is at www.grafton-mass.gov. Allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless participation is required by law. For this meeting of the Cable Oversight Committee convening by Zoom, as posted on the town's website, identifying how people may join. Please note that the meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the meeting. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along the posted agenda unless I know otherwise. I don't know what that is.
That was Corson calling my cell phone.
Oh, good. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold your name until the name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a colloquy, and I can't believe I said that word, with other members, please do so through me, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first read public comment questions received in advance of the meeting, followed by real-time board and/or applicant responses. Public comments during the meeting will be conducted through the chat feature on Zoom. The chair will read the real-time comments, questions typed by computer participants in the chat feature, followed by real-time board applicant responses. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted as a roll call. So, having said that, I will start with a roll call. Bob Berger, as I said, we know that he is not with us tonight. Bob DeToma?
Here.
Bob DeToma is here. Jim Gallagher is here. Bob Hassinger?
I'm here.
Bob is here. Jack Kelly?
Here.
Jack is here. Lisa Kelly?
Kelly here.
Lisa is here, and Corson Wyman?
Here.
Corson is here. So let me ask, do we have any written questions that were sent to us before? No? Okay. So the first item on the agenda is public input. So I understand that we have someone who's on with us. Are you able to hear me? Do we know if they're connected?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's looking to give input. She might just be here. Not sure.
Okay,
No response.
so no response on the public input. A review of the minutes of the March 22nd meeting. Were there any comments?
I move we accept the meeting minutes.
Motion made to accept the minutes by Jack.
Second.
There is a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. We will do a roll call. Bob DeToma.
Aye.
Bob DeToma, aye. Jim Gallagher, aye. Bob Hassinger.
Aye.
Bob Hassinger, aye. Jack Kelly.
Aye.
Jack Kelly, aye. Lisa Kelly.
Aye.
Lisa Kelly, aye. Corson Wyman.
Aye.
Corson Wyman, aye. And the minutes are accepted unanimously. The next item is we are revisiting the signage out front. We had spoken about this in a prior meeting, and it was requested of young Mr. DeToma that we get some bids, which he has shared with me and I with you. So let me turn this over to Bob DeToma.
Okay, thank you. We requested 3 bids from local companies. The first company to respond was Sunshine Sign, located in Grafton. They sent a bid, as you can see, for the design and finish of the external or exterior signage, double-face painted aluminum posts and panel, and a set of painted 1-inch thick PVC letters, 36 inches tall, all capitals. That would be GCTV on the side of the building. They came in with a price of $5,753.58. They put an option at the bottom, although I don't understand why they didn't include it in the total. The option was to design and furnish and install the painted aluminum 36-inch tall letters. The 2 items that they submitted combined would total to $9,398.38. The other bid was submitted by Alpha Graphics, which are located in Worcester, I believe. Their post and panel sign was bid at $2,580 installed. They did not, they submitted this bid for illuminated channel lettering over the entrance. So that would have been the large GCTV letters. And they did not do the math for us. They just said 13,771 installed. They didn't detail whether or not that included the sign up front. The electricity for the signage really bumps the price up. And then they included at the bottom an additional $8,897 for the smaller lettering, which would spell out Grafton Community Television. The third company that requested to quote did not respond in time. So that's what I have for this evening.
Okay. Any discussion?
Well, are you looking to have a decision?
No, I just want to see before we look for any kind of motion. I just want to see if there's any questions of Bob.
Yeah,
I guess we could ask for a submittal and then discuss it under discussion. I guess we could do that. Is there a motion to accept?
I move we accept the bid from Sunshine Design.
Is there a
Second.
second? Motion made and seconded. Now discussion.
the bid for the freestanding sign or for the exterior lettering, the building lettering, or both, or?
For this proposal, the one we were emailed from Sunshine Sign.
It has,
The option 1 and option 2, Bob.
is that the intent of the motion, that it be both?
Bob, is this included in the total? Or at least the total that we're,
If we're talking about Sunshine Sign, they will do the sign out front and 36-inch tall plastic letters on the building for $5,753.58. They will not, in this proposal, it doesn't spell out Grafton Community Television, and that doesn't electrify anything. So this is basic.
What I'm reading says 36-inch tall channel letters with LED lighting, all caps reading GCTV.
That's the additional entry at the bottom, which adds an additional $3,644.80.
So if I could just interrupt, Jack, is your motion to include both?
My motion is
including-
for option 1, not including the LED lights.
Okay,
I'm totally baffled about what you were saying.
the motion on the
36.
floor is just for the design and furnish of the exterior sign valued at $5,753.58.
I understand that, Jim, but I was trying to ask a question about it. Never mind.
Well, when you pause like that, I figure you're done. Sorry.
I'm never done, Jim. As you well could appreciate, Jim.
Yeah.
So you're just talking about a sign, and we haven't settled on what options might be on that sign looking down at the bottom, right? We had suggestions. You know what I'm talking about?
Correct.
Look at the very bottom. I prefer, it's my idea, to have the small letters spelling out Grafton Community Television, of course. So I like that part of the one on the right. I'm not absolutely sure that that art is perfect, but it's the right idea. I might, see a little different graphic render. But
Jack?
I'm not necessarily in love with writing, but I do prefer that sign over having a green board and then putting our logo in the middle. I don't know how that will look. So I feel like if we, in doing this, we would use one more looking like the one on the right where it's incorporated into the sign instead of just a signboard and logo plastered on.
All right, so do you want to include that in your motion?
I assume that was it because that was the one that was displayed as the sign without the big
Okay.
cross through it.
So just to clarify, the motion on the floor will be for the exterior signage at $5,353.58 using option 2 as it's pictured without a red cross through it on the attachment.
I
Lisa,
don't
is
know whether
that
you,
also your second?
I don't know whether you want to say, I
Bob,
don't
can you
know.
hang on a second? Lisa, is that, will you second that as well?
Second.
Second, okay, Bob Hassinger.
I don't think you want to say option 2 because option 2 is what labels the other 3,600. You want the illustration that's on the right in the proposal.
As always, you are correct, oh great one. So the
Don't
sign
Forget it.
and the second picture on the adjoining document.
Or even the one that spells out Grafton Community Television in addition
All right.
to the letters.
Don't move.
Any other discussion?
Just a side note I want to make, and that is that if anybody's watched the original 1960s series of Batman, that whenever they showed a camera for when the Commissioner Gordon was going to go on the air, it says on it GCTV, which stands for Gotham City Television.
Well, we're pretty sure that we're not going to get sued by
Batman.
by Batman. or by
I
the-
just thought that was kind of amusing, that's all.
As an aside, thank you. Any other discussion?
Just, Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
just so I'm clear, the image on the green sign that spells out GCTV in capital letters, Grafton Community Television spelled out underneath is the design that Jack had highlighted, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, not hearing any further discussion, we will have a roll call. Bob Berger is not here still. Bob DeToma?
Aye.
Bob DeToma, aye. Jim Gallagher is aye. Bob Hassinger?
Aye.
Bob Hassinger, aye. Jack Kelly?
Aye.
Jack Kelly, aye. Lisa Kelly?
Aye.
Lisa Kelly, aye. Corson Wyman?
Aye.
Corson Wyman is aye. So that motion passes unanimously. I'd like to have a discussion now on option 2. Is there an interest in that?
Is that the the one with the lights?
That's the design, furnish, and install one set of painted, custom illuminated, 36-inch tall channel letters with LED lighting, all caps, reading GCTV for the price of $3,644.80.
Okay, so then my question is to the Toma. Where are those letters going?
Hold on, I'm trying to read along here.
Is that
On the front face, the front fascia of the building where the brick is, where the down lights are.
Does this include running power to that location? Or
Well,
was
it's an
that considered?
LED.
Hmm?
They're LED lights, so
That, unless you're going to climb up there and put batteries in them, or unless they're solar powered, which it doesn't mention. Corson seems to understand the engineering problem here. And I think Bob Berger spoke of the issue last month about getting
Right.
power out there. LED just means it won't cost us a whole lot to run it.
Bob DeToma, do you know anything about that?
They did not quote for the electrical work. They only quoted for the signage.
All right, do we want to push this option off to next month?
I don't even want to consider this option at all.
Well, you don't want it at all. Okay,
Let's I would say let's get the sign we just voted in, see how that works out, and then maybe come back around to the other at some point. In the meantime, folks, when you go around to the neighboring towns, take a look at how their studios have signage, just to get an idea. Okay?
thank you. All right, so every now and then in the future, I'll just ask if anyone wants to give the signage on the building another life, and you can let me know if you do. So the follow-up on the additional closed caption information, Mr. DeToma again.
I reached out to Tightrope, to their sales department. I got no response. I tried a second time, no response. I reached out to the support team, asked them if they could tell me what was going on or if they could push from their end. They were very surprised that we hadn't received a response. The person I spoke to told me that everybody was still working remotely in Minnesota and that he would pass on the request. Sadly, I have nothing to tell you.
Okay. Is there still the interest? Do we want to let this ride again?
I would like to keep it going. I mean, I would like to get an answer once and for all for the hard dollar figure. Yes, we can afford it. No, we can't. It's crazy, but well, I'll keep pushing to see if I can get any response from Tightrope.
Good, thank you. Access activity, young Mr. Kelly.
Yep, I wrote up a little report. I've been going through the numbers just on YouTube. Obviously, all of our meetings that have taken place between our previous cable meeting and this meeting have been captured and put up. We have an episode of Minute by Minute going up, or that has gone up with Andy Deshane and Paul Cook, and our first episode of Meet the Candidate with Laura. We have no, as far as we know, no contested races, so we're just meeting with who is running. We also did 3 PSAs aimed at the seniors, informing them about the medical loan closet and SNAP information and the SMOC deadline getting pushed back. So all that stuff is on TV, and we released episode 1 of This Week in Grafton Government and episode 1 of Planet Grafton, which got a total of 612 views 465 of those views were people who had never watched any of our content before. So
I can't believe it.
that was pretty good. I was pretty happy to see that.
That's got, okay, but that's an awful big number.
I was very pleased with that.
Well,
Well-
it kind of speaks to maybe we should be asking ourselves what kind of programming we should be doing. If we have 400 people that this is what brought them to Grafton Community Television, do we want to have a look at what we're broadcasting?
Yeah. Well, what brought them to us was the Planet Grafton social media stream, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I was paying attention to everything. I'm the showrunner and the producer and everything. So I wanted to make sure that if anything that was a legitimate issue arose, I could be there to answer any questions. And at the end of the day, I realized there was no problem with the content, and views are views. So I was happy with it. The Planet Grafton alone got 485 views. Close to, it'll probably get 500 by the end of the week. And next week we are filming the second episode of This Week in Grafton Government with an updated plan to make sure it is weekly going forward. Because right now there was the issue of not having enough meetings to cover, but with other certain town events coming up like town meeting in the not so distant future, we have some other topics we can bring up to make that show truly weekly. And then I think Ed and I are going to meet up next week to plan for recording some more of his episodes to come out.
I was curious when I saw that from Ed, because it was the first time I had seen up on YouTube official Grafton television. I think I might have mentioned it before that I'm sensitive to maintaining the dividing line that we always have had, public access, people having to say whatever they want to have to say, official government channel for whatever the government wants to say. And I think there's potentially some confusion.
Yep.
There.
I have made, me and Bob worked together to make many updates to address that confusion, because that was the first thing that arose. Now, it was also in the same sentences as many other irrelevant negative issues, but the issue of it being called the official town of Grafton turned out to be a simple it had just always been called this, so that's what we called it. We have since updated the titles of both of our channels to more accurately display what they represent, and using a new platform, or a new format, the homepage of our YouTube channel now displays select board, planning board, finance committee, zoning board, school board, and Concom meetings right on the front side. So you see all of the biggest meetings we capture, all of them right there. And we also have all of our public content. But as long as everything is titled appropriately, in my opinion, I feel like that divide that you're talking about is maintained, because I think it's pretty obvious to an average person when they see Board of Selectmen, okay, I know what this is. This is a meeting that's been captured. If they see PSA about medical loan closet, they're probably going to go, okay, this is probably not a meeting. This is not a government production.
I think
Also,
the
it'd
short
be on
answer, the short
I'm sorry,
answer
Bob,
there,
go- I interrupted you twice. Go ahead.
the short answer there is that the YouTube channel no longer says official town video. It says Grafton Television, and it will display anything that's been recorded, whether it's on any of the three channels, and it's broken down distinctly into those folders as Jack specified. So it doesn't, the YouTube part that said the official town Grafton video is a throwback from the previous administration. So we updated it. We have been rebranded, I guess is the word we want to use. We rebranded it, and we have been loading some of the legacy programs into the channel, but all of the new stuff is going in there. So if anybody goes in and wants to see TV Classics with Jim Gallagher, they can find it in the folder. If they want to find Planning Board, they can find it in a specific folder. They want to find Minute by Minute or town meetings or anything of the like, they can find it in a specific folder. So it's currently branded as Grafton Television.
And like I said, I do want to specify for that YouTube channel that using playlists, we will be able to differentiate what series they're a part of or what segment or shows. But when it comes to our television programming, obviously everything is still going to be where it is. You're not going to see either of the shows I mentioned previously, Planet Grafton or Twig, on our government channel. That will not be the case.
Yeah, the other thing was I haven't tried to watch Ed's program, but the picture that I saw come up on the web had the sign that you've got, Jack, behind him, and I guess that's okay, particularly if you've taken away official, but well, I don't know that we can tell him not to use our logo, so.
I made the decision to put it in.
Okay.
I want for if we're all putting our effort into a project, I want our logo to be on it. And
If we're doing it in the studio, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to see that logo there somewhere.
and again, like you said, the official Town of Grafton video being the title was more of an.
Yeah, I got it.
And I also did want to say one more thing on this topic. If there we still are a public access. So if there are people who saw that video and got upset because they wanted to say something, then our producers' courses we're still doing them. No one's interested. So if you want to come in and learn how to use our cameras and learn how to use the equipment, learn how to do all this stuff, we're here to help. We're not going to do it all. We're going to do our own programming.
When was the last time that we advertised a producer's course? When was the last time we held one?
Well, I'm sure it was done back when we were in South Grafton. So I think that
The last
I'm
time
sure
Chris
that's one of the things that I had taught.
You got two of us talking.
Okay, but so let's listen to me then. The last time that I spoke with Bob DeToma, we had talked about this, and that was one of the things that Bob had said, that he's interested in getting played up once things really kind of settle down and open up around here. So I think we're starting to see the beginning of things opening up a bit. So I'm sure there may be one coming up, but given from the time when we were in South Grafton until now, I would say it would have been impossible to do a production show. So I think that's something that we're all looking for, and when the time is right, I'm sure that we'll do it.
I think it was probably not immediately before we left South Grafton. I think it might have been 2 or 3 years before we left South Grafton, for all I know.
It was before I got there.
Yeah. My main point was that we have not been pushing that at all, either back then or now. I think Bob said that the studio is open every day, so it's certainly possible to do it.
And that's on the
People
agenda.
sit apart from each other. I don't know.
Yep, that's on the agenda. And maybe what we'll do is maybe we'll we'll make an agenda item for the next month's meeting and ask, Bob DeToma.
To answer Bob's question originally, when was the last one done? It would have been back at the old studio, and a couple of times Chris McMullen put out the request or the notification.
Offer.
They were willing to do a producer's course, and they got 0 response. So he stopped putting out the notification after 2 or 3 attempts. Recently, with the PSA videos for wear your mask for COVID and things similar to that, people have started to ask questions about how do I participate in that. Our weather girl, Julia Koshavos, who's going to graduate this year, we already have her replacement because word of mouth. The young woman, a young girl, is coming in to replace her. And so we're more visible and people are starting to take notice and people are asking the right questions. So yeah, it's probably the time to start thinking about that. It's just a question of how fearful people are about coming into the building. Some people don't give it a second thought. We tell them we're behind the glass, we're wearing masks, you're free to take yours off. But there are still people out there that are still timid. The lady that was doing the line dancing class is kind of timid. She came in and did one class, and then there was the second surge, and she kind of backed off a little bit. So yeah, it's time to start thinking about it. It's time to start putting the word out. It might be some time before people's bravery comes back.
Who are we going to have teach it? You, Bob?
I will teach it. Yeah, I have the original syllabus, and so we can teach the course.
Very good.
Yeah, no, I was interested. I've seen a lot more activity lately. There's the ones that you talked about, and also the Hunter, the going around
Business.
business. Is that it? Business to business.
Yep.
Actually, that's a lot more than I can remember us having for quite a while. And whatever we're doing to get that, let's do a lot more of it. I think it's partly how you outreach to get the message out to people, and part of it is talking to the people who might have an interest. Did Ed come to you and say, how do you do it? Or did someone go to Ed and say, hey, here's an opportunity?
So This Week in Grafton Government and Planet Grafton are both shows that I kind of, obviously Planet Grafton is the name of his property, but I came up with the idea for this show. So I went out and got the talent for both of those. Amy Marr, who's here watching, and Colleen Roy for Twig. I wanted exactly what you're saying. I just wanted to make a lot of stuff, because when you make stuff, people see it and they're more inclined to maybe tune in, or even better, join in. So I just thought, who are the best people I can get, and what are my best ideas? And those were, and I see a heart from Amy down there. Those were my two most successful right off the bat ideas, and luckily the people made it possible.
It's just about what I guessed was going on by observation, but yeah. No, if you involve people who people see on social media, we'll have a much bigger public outreach.
Yep.
Because, through them. Anyway, I'm glad to see it. Anyway, that's the point.
Thank you, Jack. And I, as one of the three of us who has been around this since the 80s, I just want to make a personal statement that the work that Bob DeToma and Jack Kelly have been doing since they've been here has been a breath of fresh air, and is bringing more of new, pertinent programming to this station. I was always proud to be a part of this, but the work that you two have been doing is exemplary. I thank you personally. I thank you as the chair, and I thank you personally as someone that goes back with Bob Hassinger and Corson Wyman doing shows like Town Talk and interviews with Norman Mortimer Taft and Grafton Update. They were all topical at the time, but not anymore. And I think you folks, you two have your finger on the pulse, and you're to be congratulated. So thank you very much for all of that.
I will also extend that to Bill Robidoux, who is
How the hell with him? He's from out of town.
Well, no, he started in town, He had to leave
That's right.
He was on the committee.
That's
He
right.
was on this committee until he left
Back in the
town.
day.
He moved out.
Bob DeToma.
Before I forget, while we're talking about local production, the town administrator and his assistants will be coming in soon to do their warrant article programs. We haven't actually pinned down the date to do that yet. And then as far as the promotion of anything that we want to do at Grafton TV, William Blake is very keen to help us get the word out. He's very skilled with the English word, and if we get together with him and talk about how we want to word things or how we want to promote things, he'll work with us hand in hand. So I think he'll be a big help in getting the word out as far as future producer courses go.
That's great. Great news. Great news. More people involved. It's a community process here. Excellent.
So you're going to You're gonna do
I'm sorry,
the,
Bob.
you're gonna do the Warren thing in the studio this time, not, I think they've done it, the last fairly recent years, they did it in conference room A.
My guess would be I've convinced them to do it in the studio. I've begged them 3 times not to do it in conference room A like the old way, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident we can get them down
A
there.
new day. A new day. All right, our next scheduled meeting is May 17th. Is that an issue for anyone? Back to the third Monday.
Tax day, is that a federal holiday? We have to worry about that now?
Well, I looked on my calendar. I know that I'm going in on May 10th, by the way. And when the doctor asked if I had a conflict on May 10th, I looked at the calendar, and May 10th is Mexican Mother's Day. So
Mr.
if there's
Chair,
anything on the calendar for May 17th, I would have known.
Mr. Chair,
That's
sir.
tax filing deadline.
I don't want to commit to anything until you talk with Forson about the date.
My calendar says tax day. I don't think that should get in the way of our meeting.
No, I agree.
I'm not paying my taxes.
Even,
All right.
regardless
Bob,
of,
did you bring enough beverage for everyone?
No.
All right, just checking. Okay, are there any other items that were not reasonably anticipated? Wyman Gordon. Wyman Gordon.
But yeah, there's one thing I wanted to touch on. I don't know if this is something that we can ever do anything with, but when you go, and I can only speak from someone who has FiOS, when you go on FiOS and you look at their program guide, it basically just says, what the number is, public access, government. It really doesn't say anything, and you can't really differentiate us from anybody else. And it occurred to me that is there anything that Verizon can do to change that? Now, the other thing to consider is this. When you look at some of the other guides, they have a little bug next to their number. And we have a bug. So is there any way that we could get a bug put next to our channel?
Are you saying a bug?
It's the design.
Yeah, it's our logo, our bug.
Okay.
you see it in the corner, down in the corner, and in a lot of stuff on television. There'll be a
Is
little
that called the
little
bug?
thing down here.
Right.
What
Well,
is Alma?
so that's a bug. See the bugs there? There's one for Fox and Smithsonian.
Okay.
Corson.
Yeah.
So please send me the screen prints of what you're talking about so I can show it to Verizon.
That's something that has been that way. It's all you're right, Corson. Every time I even go to different towns and I'm on a television, every channel is listed as public.
Yeah, you can't.
Public government education.
You don't know if it's Grafton or Millbury or some other place. I use the.
Send me as many screen prints as you can get me, and I'll so that I can forward them.
Okay, well, I just sent those. Can you see those two? Okay.
Very good. Anyone else?
We've been after the that's on the program guide course.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that we can't do a whole lot about saying what we want to put on the air and have them put it all on the program guide, but
But at
where
least
it's
to
static, where
identify
it never
GCTV.
changes.
Yeah.
Where
All
it
right,
never
Bob will
changes.
look into it. Bob will look into it. Thank you for the suggestion. Do I hear a motion on the floor?
I move to adjourn.
Hear
Second,
a second. Motion made and seconded. Bob DeToma.
Aye.
Bob DeToma, aye. Jim Gallagher, aye. Bob Hassinger.
Aye.
Bob Hassinger, aye. Jack Kelly.
Aye.
Jack Kelly, aye. Lisa Kelly.
aye.
Lisa Kelly, aye. Corson Wyman Gordon.
Aye.
Corson Wyman Gordon is aye. So we are officially adjourned.